So, as a photographer who's been doing the same sort of thing for 8 or 9 years now, I have this year been dealing with burnout, which is something most artists are all too familiar with. And during this burnout, I stumbled upon this artist who I'm interviewing today, and that is Lesath Photography. When I stumbled upon her page after seeing it shared by another artist, I was blown away. I've never seen photography work that's both so different and so magical and so ethereal, but also so in tune with just what drives me as an artist, what drives me as a fantasy photographer specifically. And so I shared her work to my page, and the response I got from the people that follow and support me has been super positive. People blew up her page with follows. I got multiple messages just telling me how cool her work is. And so after that, I started talking to her, and mid-conversation, I was like, wait a second, I can't pick your brain just through text messages. I feel like I really need to video chat you, and also if I do, I'm sure other people would want to hear. So that leads us to this thing right here. I never planned on starting a podcast. I always strayed far, far away from it. I'm a man in my 30s. No one needs another man in their 30s posting their opinions on a podcast platform. I really just want to pick this artist's brain. I really want to showcase her to you guys. So that's just what's happening here. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Lesath Photography. Thank you so much for just taking your time to do this.
Of course.
Yeah. Has it been a super busy April for you, or?
A little bit, yeah, because I have a day job outside of photography, which is a pretty demanding job. I do visual effects for movies, so it's a lot of overtime, it's a lot of deadlines. And I've been doing a lot of photography. I've been very lucky for April. I've got a lot of people coming to see me, so yeah, it's been a pretty busy month.
Absolutely. I can see your experience with visual effects really being put into play with your photography work. It's incredible.
Well, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was, so, I've been kind of in a phase of burnout myself, where I've been doing my type of fantasy photography for 8 or 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
And,
yeah.
I kind of personally hit that wall where it's so hard to get excited over my work anymore. And I just don't know the direction I've wanted. And then I found your work.
Wow.
something changed.
I'm glad.
And yeah.
I'm happy to inspire you.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, I never planned or intended to be yet another 30-something-year-old white man with a podcast.
And yet that's where we all end up at some point.
I guess so, but no, I just got so excited over your work, and yeah, of course I started messaging you about it, and I'm wait a second, can we just video chat? And then I'm wait a second, people will probably want to listen in. When I shared your work, people don't respond as strongly to the stuff, to when I post my when I post my own stuff as they did with you. I got messages from multiple people after I did that share, telling me how amazing you are. Literally I had people I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, so I'm kind of far away, but I've had people locally kind of say that they were thinking of just coming up and working with you.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people, I had a wave of new followers after you did that. I was where do you guys come from?
I know, yeah.
And I had a couple of people, yeah. And a few of them told me, we're going to fly in to Montreal just to work with you. And I was don't. What? But yeah, so that might happen, which is super, very exciting. I've never imagined that would be a thing, but So
Yeah,
thanks a
no,
lot
it was
for that we
it
share.
was quite beautiful to like click on your page and then find out like how many mutuals we then had. Like it's so well deserved. And
Thank
like I
you.
was just shocked to see like just based on the dates and stuff that you've posted, like I guess how recently you kind of started, I guess, this area of your art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
so
pretty recent. Like
yeah,
I technically started, I would say I started thinking about it about a year ago, and I really started getting into it like 6 months ago, which is when I started really like taking pictures of my friends, which then evolved into friends of friends to like what I have now. But I started thinking about this is something I want to do about a year ago, I would say.
just like photography overall,
Yeah.
or oh my god.
I've been like I've been into art ever since I was like very young, like drawing, writing, making music, like that's all been my life since I was a kid. Photography is kind of like the last thing I thought I would be doing because in my head it felt very restrictive. Like I like the idea of being able to control everything. Like that's why I used to love drawing so much because you can create a whole world out of nothing. And photography felt like I had the limits of the real world that I couldn't really like go past. And then I found a few other photographers with a similar style, and I was like, wait, that's a possibility. Like I could technically be doing a style that's much more appealing to me. And so that's when I started thinking, okay, I kind of want to start experimenting with photography as well. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
I'm guessing one of them was Ethereal Fire.
Yeah, and not even. I discovered him afterwards, which crazy because like his work is he's a master at this kind of style.
Yeah.
The main person who really inspired me, her Instagram handle is Clémentine Art Gallery. I think her real name is Clémentine Ecobichon. She's on a break right now, but she does what I do, but like 100 times, 1,000 times better. She's like so great at capturing the essence of people and the soul that there is in her work is unmatched. And I saw that and I was like, I want to do that. Like that seems like such a good life if you can do that like day to day. So yeah, she's like the one that really inspired me.
Yeah, but also like how many years of experience and how many resources does she have to
Yeah.
accomplish what you call better?
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I listened to a similar podcast that she did, and we have a very similar background. She also studied animation. She also worked a little bit in like cinema, and she also decided that it was not for her. So it's kind of like we have a very, and she's also French. We're kind of from the same area. Like we have a very similar background, and it created like, oh, she did it, I can do it. And I know that she's making a living out of it. She's like doing this full time, which is ultimately what I would love to be doing. So yeah, that was really like the spark, the push that I needed to be like, okay, I really need to give it a real try and not just daydream about it.
Okay. And like forgive me for asking, but you're like what? Like early to mid 20s?
Yeah, I'm 26 right now.
You're 26 and in what? Like just over a year after picking up a camera to start photography, you have created a very long, very vast body of work that has a refined style. You are able to develop a clientele that will pay you to really put them in bold and put them in bold and really intimate settings. You've built that trust with people.
Yeah.
And again, like when I come back to refined style, like that is like that's insane. Like I've been professionally trained in photography since 2014, and
Okay.
I've yet to reach a point where I feel like my style is defined or refined.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you've built a business model where you get the ultimate creative control. Of course, like you're allowing your models to have input, but people are paying you. People are paying you to define what these images are going to look like.
Yeah. Which
These
is,
are things.
I'm very thankful for that. I feel like not every photographer gets to do that, to have so much freedom.
And so many of us like strive our whole lives to reach that point. And are you self-taught for photography?
Yeah. I technically did go to school for photography for like 2 months. When I needed basically a visa to come back to Montreal, the easiest way was to get into school. I tried photography school. I dropped out very quickly because I didn't like it. In my opinion, it felt very, I don't know, we were kind of starting from the beginning, and having a background in art, I already knew like color theory. I know how shapes work, lines, shadows. And that, plus the fact that I had to work at night to be able to afford an apartment and food, it meant that I was sleeping like 3 hours a night, and then I had to go to school to learn things that I already knew. So I dropped out after 2 months, and I started really taking photography seriously by myself at that point, because I was like, well, maybe that's like not a very good mindset, but so far in my life, everything I've kind of learned by myself and on my own. So I have this, like, I'm sure that I can learn everything if I put time into it. Like, I trust myself to be able to dedicate enough time and energy to learn everything I want to learn. And it's been true so far. So I was like, photography is not any different. I'll figure it out. I have roommates. I'll make them pose for me. And then when I feel like I have something that's strong enough to give to other people, I'll start doing shoots with people that I don't know. And that's basically what happened.
One of the reasons I specifically wanted to talk to you as like my first photography guest is because, like, for example, like when I was going through your work for the first time and I was talking to other photographers about it, I was like, man, if I could get a really good studio space and a really good light setup and all of these things, maybe I can create stuff that might be a fraction as cool as what you do. and then I saw like you had a reel or a story post of like a behind the scenes of the setup, and I'm like, shoot, this is a black sheet in her living room with a single light.
Literally, yeah. It still feels odd to tell people to come. It's my bedroom. So it's like I move all of the furniture. I just put a black sheet of fabric on the wall, and then I have one light and a few like stuff from Facebook Marketplace as accessories, and here we go. Like, it's very low cost.
Yeah, and like just to put in perspective how good I am at making excuses, this room is completely empty. This is a third bedroom in my house that's just for my photography stuff.
Nice.
I haven't shot a single photo in here. I have 5 lights in here.
Yeah, it takes a bit to gather enough like accessories and stuff that you feel like you've created a setup that you can work with, I feel.
Yeah, of course. And like when I was looking through your work, I was just looking at the poses and just the intricacy and the intimacy, and like your style is uniquely feminine. And what I mean by that is like I or another male photographer who might happen to do something similar to what you do, like I don't think my sausage brain could come up with these poses, because like, again, like men's brains and women's brains work differently, and obviously you have like you have such a vast background in art, like a good portion of the magic is just simply in your imagination and just your ability to like bring out the beauty in people and to just pose these like they're
I think
they're
good
insane.
references as well. Like, I have a very big library of paintings and sculptures that I really like, and so I take a lot of inspiration from these, especially for the poses. Like, I try to find I engage conversation with the people who want to shoot with me. I try to find out who they are, what they like, and then I kind of select the poses that I think would work best for them, depending on what they want to show. If they want to feel more delicate, if they want to feel powerful, I'll find like paintings, sculptures that I feel like will fit the vibe. Create a mood board, send it to them, they approve it. And then obviously during the shoot, we also adapt depending on how they feel in the moment. But I do feel that was kind of one of my motivators to also do photography was I have kind of opinions about boudoir photography in general. I do think the space is unfortunately like full of male photographers who only take pictures of women they can sexualize. Like when you look at some male photographers, you can see that their models are all like 20-year-old women, very skinny women in very compromising like poses. We can barely see their faces, which is like obviously some people want that, like absolutely. But I do think when you start looking around for boudoir, that's kind of your only option sometimes. Like you don't see a lot of photographers who will make the effort of making it truly unique to you and not just like vague male fantasy, what should a woman look like? So that was also kind of, and that's something I talk a lot about with my clients who are mostly women, is how like they've felt like their identity was not important when they've shot with other male photographers. It was mostly about creating these perfect curves without really thinking of what it means about them. So yeah, that was one of the big things as well. I was like, I want to be a model to show that like we can do both something that's sensual but not necessarily exploit the models at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like when I look at your work, I don't even like the poses. The poses are so intentional. The art the art is so intentional and so like well put together, where half the time I don't even notice if like whether this is a topless photo, whether the model is wearing something. Like I literally sent this link to my mom. I never send my mom like any page of like nude imagery. Like I just sent her your website and I'm like, look. And then she was like,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And on top of a lot of like positive things to say, she was like, I could see, she was like, wow, I could see you leveling up to doing stuff like that minus like all the nudity. I was like, wait, nudity? And then I looked and I'm like, wait a second. Oh yeah, that's all there.
Yeah, it is nudity. Yeah. I do forget about it sometimes. I've also sent my parents a few pictures and I'm like, oh wait, I like there's boobs in this image, but
yeah,
it is so unsexual to me and to the model that it's like we don't even register it as it could be perceived as something sexual because it's just a body. You know what I mean? Especially, I think like having a background in art, I did a lot of still life drawing where you would have models pose for you and then you draw them. And like these models are nude, and I've been doing that for like 10 years at this point. And I do feel that really like I'm not sensitive to nudity at all. And a body is just a body. And when I get models that have the same view, that's when we create, I think, the most, like the best work that we can do together because they're comfortable, I'm comfortable, and it just turns out like very beautiful.
Yeah. Plus, if you go to an art museum with any of this style of work, like it's all around. We're so accustomed to seeing it in this style, and your photography really is a time capsule.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, it's a time capsule basically to a completely different area of humanity. And it makes it even cooler. Like I'm just up here scrolling back and forth through your site. Like it makes it even cooler when like suddenly you see someone with tattoos or with blood coming out of their eyes. Like you've created such a amazing fusion that's very striking to the eye.
I love having clients with tattoos because that's kind of what I love is obviously when you look at these paintings, like these baroque paintings from back in the day, it's always the same kinds of bodies that are in there. It's always like skinny white woman with very like pure skin, like no flow basically. And I love having clients, obviously like every client I have is beautiful, but I do love having clients whose bodies were not necessarily represented in these paintings to be like, okay, we're going to use the same technique. I'm going to put you in the same space, but now it's with a body that would have been considered not great back then. Whether it's like tattoos, people who are bigger, like disabilities, it's like I will try to give you that sense of your body deserves to be put in art, even if it wasn't in the past. That's kind of like the main mission that I try to give myself.
Yeah. So when you started doing this style of work, how did you ultimately build up your client base? Like, who are these people? How did you get them? How did you build up this amazing army of people that will pay you to do this?
So I've been very lucky so I started with my roommates, as I said, and they're involved in shibari spaces, which is an art form where you tie people up with ropes. And like they have contact with people who do shows. And so these are people who are comfortable with their bodies. They're comfortable being nude in front of an audience. And so I reached out to a couple of people from these spaces asking, do you want a free photo shoot? They said yes. And then I think it was just like I became known through this community of shibari, burlesque, drag, like all of these communities of people who are comfortable with their bodies and who want nude photography. And most of my clients today still come from these pools of hobbies, of people who like pose for a living or who do shows or are in entertainment. So I'm very lucky that I got my foot in the door of an industry that is like very aligned with what I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been lucky with finding the right people.
Got it. Yeah. On your website, you say that like most of your models have not modeled before.
Yeah.
Is that true of most of these people in these creative spaces?
I say more than half have never posed for photography. Like they've done shows, they've taken self-portraits, but they've never had someone tell them, because I'm very directive also when I like take pictures. I tell people like I want your pinky to be bent like this. Like I'm very specific about what I want, and that's an experience that most of them have never had before. Like for the few that have had photo shoots, it was mostly like, oh, you're a burlesque artist, do something burlesque, and then the photographer taking pictures. Whereas like I want to be in control of the pose, with their consent. But so the style of shoot that I do, I've been told that none of them have ever had this kind of shoot before. So, and also I've had people who have never stepped foot into any kind of stage, any photography studio. They've never done it before. So like, and it's a different challenge, obviously, but yeah, big chunk of my models have never done like professional photo shoots before.
That's incredible. So you kind of have the best of both worlds, where you have people that are confident in themselves, who know how to look pretty, but you're the first person that's actually posed them in this way. Maybe you might be the first person that has try to really capture their individuality versus what their body might look like. And I can imagine that some of the feedback that you may have gotten from them has been incredible. It's
so great to have, like, I always ask people afterwards, like, how was it for you? How did you feel? And it's so great to have people tell me that they felt completely comfortable, that they feel like their limits were, like their boundaries were respected. Because I think it's very important to check in with your models like continuously throughout the shoot. Like if is this pose okay? Do your knees hurt? Like how do you feel? Especially if it's nude photography, I always have to like recheck every like 20 minutes. Like, are you still comfortable being nude? Do you want to put on some clothes? Like, is everything okay? And they do tell me that they feel 100% safe and comfortable, more so than they have with other photographers, and that they will talk about me to their friends, which is how I get, I think, most of my clients is just through word of mouth, like people just telling others that I'm safe, and so they feel safe coming to me.
Yeah, that's super important. Like, my number one goal, I don't do anything to the level of what you do, but my number one goal for my photography is make sure people feel safe and respected. And it really goes a long way. if you're ever having like a bad day or something, or a low self-esteem day, has there been any quote or any bit of feedback that you've gotten that you go back to really remind yourself of who you are?
I think just the idea of I've had people who are not very confident in their bodies, they're not very comfortable, and then I show them the pictures like straight away on the camera, and they're like, oh my God, like no editing, nothing, just the picture. And there's like, I can see them light up, and I can see how comfortable they get for the rest of the shoot. And this idea of like, I can make people comfortable in something that they're not very confident in, like that boost of serotonin that I get from this, I'm like, okay, even if I'm having a bad day, this is worth it. So I'm happy I can provide that for others.
You mentioned visas and getting back
yeah.
into Montreal. Are you not from Canada?
No, I'm French. I'm from France originally. I moved here in 2021 for work, for VFX work. And it's like notoriously difficult to keep a visa in Quebec specifically. So I've had to go back to France for a year, and then I'm back here. I have a year left on my visa. I'm hoping I can get something to work out to stay here, but yeah, it's a challenge to staying in Quebec as an immigrant.
Right, and I'm sure with you having built this amazing thing, I'm sure the anxiety is very big.
For sure, yeah, because I wanna, like, I would love to have a proper studio space. I want to invest more time and more money into this, but it's okay, if I'm gonna have to leave the country in a year, is it worth the investment? Should I just keep going with my little setup that I have now? Like, it's a bit of a struggle to find like what if I do have to leave in a year? How do I like build this back up again from the ground? So yeah, it is a bit of an anxiety for sure.
Is your family all in France right now?
Yeah. Everyone's in France. I'm the only one who moved here.
Okay. And were your parents artists too, or?
No, but my mom loves music, loves art. She was telling me she was hoping that she would have a child that was an artist because she loves it. She really, like from a very young age, she's so into music. She really like infused this idea into my head that any piece of art is worth consuming. Like, you will always find something in there that you can like. And she listens to everything from like Mozart to Nirvana to like everything. And she finds beauty in everything, which is definitely something that I've adopted from her. And I do think that really shaped the way that I see art, of like, there's a piece, even if something you don't like, there's going to be a piece in there that you can take and then use later on.
I just have to say that's the most romantic pronunciation of Nirvana I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm usually like, I'm pretty self-conscious about my accents, but there's a couple of words here and there that I'm like, okay, well, if it works.
Ooh, that sounds good next to Mozart.
Yeah.
What music did you kind of inherit from your parents, especially growing up as a kid, like that really stuck with you?
I feel like I fell in love with rock very early on. When I was like 11, 12, my playlist was Kill It, 3 Days Grace, Black Veil Brides, like very like Christian rock, which back then I didn't know was Christian because I didn't speak English. So I just loved the guitars. And that's
you
still
said Skillet?
Skillet, yeah.
Oh, I have history with Skillet.
Oh, yeah, I
Not
love
personal, but
yeah. I mean, I don't really listen to them anymore, but I loved them when I was younger.
Yeah.
They were like my number one. I had every CD that I could find. I was using my money on merch. Like, I was a fan.
Comatose was a great album.
I would say the Awaken Alive, I feel, is the one that I've like listened to the most, but Comatose is like second. But Awaken Alive, I would think is like my number one. But I agree. No. It was a great album. And that's kind of been the sound. Like, I listen to a bunch of different genres, but I would say like emo rock of the 2010s is kind of like the thing that I go back to every single time.
Of course. Yeah, no, I grew up an evangelical Christian.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
I am so familiar with all the Christian rock, and Skillet was one of the artists that I really loved, and then I grew to really despise.
Because of the meaning of the songs?
John Cooper specifically is not a good person. I've heard him say a lot of just terrible things in God's name about certain
Okay,
people
yeah.
groups where I just can't look at his face and or hear his voice anymore.
Ah, that's
It's
a
kind of
shame.
awful hearing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You said Black Veil Brides, 3 Days Grace.
Three
Any
Days
other
Grace.
emo bands from the 2010s?
Oh God. Hollywood Undead, which was a little bit different, but that was like I love them. Same thing. I didn't speak English back then. Didn't know what they were
Swan
saying.
Songs.
Loved them. Yeah. I know that album was amazing. Notes from Underground was also a very
Yeah.
good album from them. Same thing. I don't really listen to them anymore, but when I hear like some of their songs just come up, I'm just like overwhelmed by how much I used to love them. I had a very big 21 Pilots phase, which is not as rock, but to me was like, oh, their songs. I was starting to speak English back then. I was like, their lyrics are so interesting. There's so much meaning in there. So yeah, I had a really big 21 Pilots phase.
Yeah, no, Hollywood Undead, every now and then I will blast them in the car if I'm completely alone and if my wife is not with me,
Yeah.
because they're a very fun band to blast in the car, but
Mm-hmm.
you feel like a terrible misogynist when you do.
Exactly. Say exactly. Like when I started understanding what they were saying, I was like, "Oh my God, it's too late." Like I love them too much to stop listening to them. But oof, I think like half of their songs are so sad, and then the other half are just like misogynistic party songs. Which like, you know what? I'll forget. I'll forgive them. They get the
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah, the early 2010s was quite a interesting time for what was
Mm-hmm.
allowed in music.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I literally have an autographed CD in my basement of Mice and Men with Austin
Mm,
Carlisle, who has all these allegations now. So,
yeah. I feel like it's a half chance of if you listen to a band, a rock band specifically in the 2010s, you have a 50-50 chance that they'll turn out to be terrible people. So there's a lot of bands that I had to kick out of my rotation because of this, which,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, when did you start getting into Sleep Token?
Their last album, like I had heard of them before. I knew the
Take Me Back to
summoning.
Eden or the
Yeah,
newest? Okay.
Take Me Back to Eden. That was like, because I had given them a try before. Like, I liked The Summoning as a song. I liked Sugar, I liked Chokehold, but everything else I was like, I don't think that's for me. And then their last album is definitely the thing I've listened to the most last year. I don't know why, but the progression of all the songs together just worked so well for me. And so yeah, they've been like I would say most listened to bands last year. I know they're very controversial in terms of people keep arguing about like, oh, they're not really metal, they're not really rock, but like they've never said that they were.
Who
And also
cares?
just have fun, guys. Like, come on, like who cares? And I love that about them. The idea that I like being surprised when I listen to music. I like when bands try to merge, like blend different genres together. I think that's so much more fun when I can't, like, I don't know what to expect from the next song, and they do it well. So like, I don't know, let's have fun. Fuck it, whatever. So yeah, their last album was, yeah, I listened to it a lot.
When I found your Sleep Token cover that you posted to your
Mm,
page, and then when I found out it was in fact you, I
hmm.
literally messaged a couple people who I've been talking to about your work, who I know are Sleep Token fans, and I'm
Hmm.
like, she covered Sleep Token too.
Yeah.
She is
I hit all
magical.
the bases. Yeah. Yeah, I love them so much. And their songs are so fun to sing as well. Like, I don't know, it scratches the itch in my brain. I love them so much.
Absolutely. Here's a fun one. If
Hmm.
there was one musician who you could have as your model,
Oh
who would
God.
it be?
I used to say
Not John
that it's
Cooper.
no. I used to say the singer of 21 Pilots, Tyler Joseph, because I think I don't really like what they do anymore, but back then he was so good at taking an idea, creating a bunch of metaphors with it, and then creating a story for that
Hmm.
like you could understand what he meant without him ever saying anything directly, which is what I strive to do in art in every form that I use. I love when things are very specific, very driven, and you have to kind of try and find the meaning behind it. So I used to think that was him, I don't know who I would say now. There's a lot of artists that I respect. I think that's the one. I'll say Tyler Joseph because he's the one that I've like thought about the most in that sense.
You didn't pick him based off of his looks or appearance at all.
Oh no, no, no.
You decided based on how his brain works.
Yeah, 100%.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, looks or whatever, sure.
Yeah, no, I just Googled him just to remind myself.
She looks like a guy.
Like, and I'm like,
very much like
just
guy
some white dude.
JPEG. Yeah, just a white dude.
Yeah. So you work in filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And did you were you really big into films and into TV and movies growing up?
Not much. That's the thing is, I kind of the way I decided to work in VFX was very random. I was going out of high school, 18. I knew I wanted to do art. I've always said I want to do art, but I never had a much like a specific idea of what that meant. It always felt like nothing fit. Like I really didn't know what to do. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to make people feel things, but how do you turn that into a job? And every job that could work with that were like writer. Like I did want to be able to afford rent as well. So it was kind of a struggle. I visited this one school that did 3D VFX animation. They said that they'll take me in, and I was like, well, I guess I'll go. And then I just did it, and now I'm here. So it was never really out of passion, if I'm 100% honest. It was more like, what can I do that's adjacent to art that will also pay the bills? And that's where I am right now. And it turned out to be a very unstable job because of everything that happened with the writer strike, with AI and everything. So it wasn't a good bet in the long run, but it gave me a bunch of opportunities that I'm thankful for, like including Montreal. So
yeah,
like I'm thankful for it, but yeah, was
for
not
sure.
out of passion.
Yeah. I know almost nothing about Montreal aside from the fact that it's beautiful and the rest of Canada loves Quebec.
Yeah.
Totally. And that you all speak French. Yeah. So how are like the art vibes there? Like, obviously you got a job in filmmaking there.
Yeah.
Like, what's the artistic community like there?
It's really great. It's big, like especially for movies. Half of the people that I meet are in cinema. There's a really big movie industry here, especially for VFX and animation. It used to be one of the top cities. It's kind of changing now because of everything that's happening, but it used to be one of the top cities for animation. So there's a lot of people who do the same job that I do. But broadly, in terms of art, I love the way that people think about art in Montreal. It is very much taken seriously to do this as a job and also to have it as a hobby that takes a lot of space in your life. Whereas where I grew up was very much like a countryside little town where the idea of like, oh, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be a musician was very much just like seen as childish and not something that could actually happen. And here, when you tell people like, yeah, I make music, they're like, oh, cool, like amazing. Like, do you make a living out of it? Like, it's not seen as something impossible. So it's very motivating to see.
That's very, very. I'm literally in the middle of Baltimore City right now. Like, that's very much how Baltimore is. Like,
that's great. I love the vibe.
Yeah, like I was walking my dog one day, and 2 blocks from my house, I ended up like right next to a craft services table, and then all of these film trailers, and then turns out it was for an Apple TV series.
Yeah,
like right in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Have you been trained in cinematography too?
Yeah, because of my diploma in school, we did learn a lot about, like, once again, color theory. Like, my whole life I've been learning about, like, every single school that I went to was very much just like, how do you use color as a language? How do you use shapes? How do you work with like lines? Like visually, how do you make something appealing was part of my training for cinema. So yeah, I did learn about cinematography a lot.
Okay, so picking up a photo camera for the first time really wasn't that big of a leap.
No, it felt, and I've also been like I've been doing photography and little movies for myself since I was a kid. Like I would grab my dad's like recorder and just make little trailers with me and my brother, like apocalyptic movies, horror stuff. Like I've always been recording, taking pictures, but the idea of posing, creating composition for pictures is not something I've done before. But I've always been attracted to this idea of like, yeah, recording stuff and telling stories through images. That's always been a thing for me. So it felt very natural to take the step to photography.
Got it. And when you started really focusing on your fine art photography, were there any resources you used to really start to learn?
Not much. Looking at stuff was mostly it. Just looking at paintings, trying to analyze what makes it stand out the way it does. What is it about the colors? What is it about the shadows that I like about it? And just trying to like create a little library of stuff that I liked, and then asking myself, why do I like this? And really trying to like analyze everything and then trying to replicate it. So it was very much learned by myself in my room at 2 a.m. after work.
Got it. Okay. So really just look at an image and just move a light around and then kind of figure out, how do I do this myself?
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And at this point, because you've already been learning cinematography, you know aperture, shutter speed, and ISO.
Sure, but in a very basic way. Like I knew it in the sense of I've had the camera that I use right now, I got for my 18th birthday. So I've had it for 10 years, almost 10 years. And I've used it to take pictures of like the stars. I've used it to take pictures of like moving stuff. So I know the concept of like how this works, but I couldn't, like I'm not a technical person at all. Even in my job today, I'm very much an artistic person. Whereas like I will figure out a way to make the technical stuff work. Even if it's not correct, I will make it work. I don't need to know all of this. I'm very much if I spend time learning about the technicality, I lose the love that I have for the thing. Like if it kind of breaks the magic for me. So I really need to be like, I have an idea, I have a camera, I'm doing it right now. I don't need like other stuff. I don't need to buy the best thing. I have like flowers, a camera, an idea, let's go. You know what I mean? Like I'm very much just in the moment.
Absolutely. And raw is so forgiving when it comes to editing.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk for a second about gear, like what you're actually running. Tell me what your camera, lens, and lighting setup is.
So I have my old Canon EOS 700D, I think is, with like a very basic like 35 millimeter lens, 35 to 125, I think. So it's very much just like baby's first camera that once again I got when I was 18. I didn't know anything. There was a deal on it, so we got this one, and that's the one I'm still using today. And then I have one light which is Godox. I forget which one, but it's a very basic tungsten light, the cheapest one, with a diffuser, and that's it. A black background. That's
and
all
it's a constant light. It's not a flash.
It's a constant light. Yeah.
So really, this is like, I guess in American dollars, this is about less than $1,000 worth of a camera setup.
Yeah. Because like
not full frame.
My camera didn't count because I got it 10 years ago. When I started thinking, okay, I want to do photography, I had no money. I was a little bit broke. I was like, I'm going to get one light, the cheapest one that I can get, which was, I think, 350 Canadian dollars. So yeah, a little bit under $200 US. And then everything else was from Facebook Marketplace. And that's the setup that I still use today.
Yeah. So you're basically using, like, if I told someone to buy all of your stuff today, it would probably cost like less than $1,000.
Yeah.
It's a crop sensor camera, which is like consumer level, and you're creating stuff. You're creating this work.
Yeah.
Nobody has any excuses.
That's the thing. Is like that's the main thing I want to tell everyone around me. Is like I've been making stuff since I was like 6 years old with nothing but a pen in my hand, and I've really had this lesson that I've learned very early on as like you will find a way. You do not need the thing. Like I've tried making music videos with nothing but my camera and an idea. Like I never spend $1 on anything. Like I make music as well. Apart from buying like this mic and these headphones, everything else that I use is free. It's like you do not need to buy anything. If you have an idea and a vision, you can do anything. You do not need to buy the thing. Like you'll manage. You'll figure it. And I would even say that having restrictions on what you have creates ideas, because you need to figure out a way to do it like without this expensive thing. So it will make you better at making stuff, even when you do get the money to buy more expensive gear. So that's, I think, a step that's very important for everyone to get to from the bottom before you start buying stuff.
Absolutely. No, you're so right. Restrictions are honestly some of the most fun parts about art.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like literally to this day, I'm using a 50 millimeter 1.8 and a 135 millimeter lens, which one of those is dirt cheap. One of those is not easy to use at all. So
yeah.
I get it firsthand. Even though you've not been doing this art for a super long time, have you felt like you've reached any point during any shoots or overall where the excitement doesn't hit you the same way, or you feel burnt out?
So thankfully not yet. Like I'm still very much excited when the model shows up, we start working together. I'm excited to edit the pictures afterwards because it's been only 6 months technically. So I'm still very much, I feel like, running on the high of this is a shiny new thing that I'm doing. I do feel like I will at some point probably hit that wall, especially when you have a style that is so defined, because you do kind of lose like space to create something new, like that's outside of what you usually do, because people are booking me for that style, so I couldn't really tell them, well, we're gonna completely change it. So I do expect that it's gonna happen at some point, and when it does, the thing that I've been doing is, because I have many different hobbies that are related to art, I usually rotate them. So when I'm sick of music, I'll start writing. When I'm sick of writing, I'll do photography. And I feel like with photography, I could see myself trying a way, like a completely new way of taking pictures, going outside, going like underwater, like going something completely different, telling people you do not have to pay me for this. I'm gonna do it for myself. And then maybe like falling in love again, with the process. I will just need, I feel like when you do get burnt out, you need that shock of like, do a personal project, do something that's 100% for you. So you relearn that you love the thing, that it's not something that you have to do to get paid. That's been something that works for me in the past. So when I do hit that point, that's what I'll try to do. We'll see if it works, but yeah. And obviously I have the privilege of saying I have a day job. If I feel burnt out, I can afford to stop photography for 2 months and then get back to it. I know that's not the case for everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm only part-time with photography. That's why I will not do a single wedding. This is why I'm fantasy only, because I can stop as long as I want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So do you have any goals with your photography, like specifically when it comes to like adapting your style, trying new things?
I would love to eventually work on music videos, which is a little far-fetched, but that's been a dream of mine forever. I'd love to work with more artists. Like, for example, I've worked with a Montreal singer, which was such a bliss to be able to work with someone who already has their world, and I'm just like kind of translating what they have into my style. And I have an opportunity very soon to, like, an artist asked me to create the EP, the cover, for her EP. So like I'm gonna have my stuff like on Spotify at some point, which is amazing. And she's asked if I wanted to attend the shoot of her music video, which obviously I said yes. So it's kind of like, it feels like I'm taking a step towards something that I'm really excited about. So yeah, like working with artists, doing music videos. Maybe one day I'd love to do an expo, like showing my art in, like, maybe not a museum, but a gallery would be great. Like being able to print everything, put it in nice frames and show it around. That'd be great. So yeah.
Your stuff would look incredible in a gallery.
I would love that. I feel like that's where I don't want to say that's where it belongs because it feels very like egotistical, but the style that I have, I think would look great on a wall in a frame. Like I feel like it's meant to be on a wall, if that makes sense, and not on a phone.
Absolutely. And I think even if you like, I get that with a lot of your images, it would be a little bit dicey, but I think there's definitely a good body of work where you could look into selling prints if you can get the
Yeah,
artist's permission.
I would love that. I've been thinking about it. I'm starting to look into like the how can I make it work technically, but I would love to sell prints and I would love to go get vintage frames at like flea markets and then sell the prints in frames. That would be like my dream. So maybe that's gonna happen eventually. I would love that.
Absolutely. I know we both are close to needing to go.
Hmm.
I know that you mentioned that you are going to be doing the cover art for an artist's EP. And like
Hmm.
that really resonates with me because one of my biggest goals is to create vinyl packaging for a music artist.
Ooh, yeah, that'd
Um,
be great.
front, back, front,
Hmm.
back, insides, completely photography. So with that being said, my last kind of fun question would
Hmm.
be, what are some of your favorite album covers?
Ooh. Well, the photographer that I mentioned earlier that really inspired me,
Mhm.
Clémentine Cobichon, which once again, her Instagram, I think everyone would go check her out if they like my work because they will like her work a lot better, is Clémentine Art Gallery. She's great. She did the cover for a French artist for like her album, which is so beautiful. I'll send it to you afterwards if you want to include it. It is so
Yes.
pretty, so intricate. It is a painting. It is so beautiful. So I would say that's a very good one. What other albums? Damn, you got me like I feel like I don't know any music. I love okay, I maybe because I love the album, but there's an artist called OK Lou, which is also a French artist. Um, she does kind of like experimental hyperpop music, and her cover is a picture of her kind of like what seems to be a typical French apartment with her friends, and just this idea of it feels like it's been taken in the moment, like it feels like it's candid, and
Yeah.
that works so well with the music that she makes, and it really like I love that cover. I think it's very pretty, and it works really well with the style. What else? Yeah, you got me in a bind. I feel like I don't know any
No
music.
pressure. I mean, you know it. It's just because you're on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? Do you have any like specific covers that you like?
Oh, you weren't supposed to ask me.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. Let me actually. So there is a artist called the Amazing Devil.
Okay. Amazing Devil.
Um, are you familiar with the TV show The Witcher?
Yep.
So it's literally the actor that plays Jaskier.
Oh, okay. Didn't know.
And when you mention an artist where an artist in their apartment looking candid, I was reminded of a album cover by the Amazing Devil called Ruin. I will show
Include
this
as
to
well.
you for a
Oh, I think
sec.
I know them actually.
They're incredible, especially if you're already into Saint Mesa. Like they are absolutely
Yeah.
worth getting into.
Yeah, I know a couple of songs actually. Oh yeah, that picture is great.
Yeah, no,
That is a very nice picture.
it's really cool. I really like how chaotic the whole thing is,
Uh-huh.
but still very well composed.
Yeah.
He just looks cool as hell.
Yes. The
Which makes
composition
me
is very
really sad.
nice.
Yeah,
Like you
it
can
makes
see
me
like
really
the
sad that he stays clean shaven with not long hair for most of the time. But
yeah.
that's a really cool one.
Hmm.
I think the Nocturne album cover from Saint Mesa is one of my recent
Yep.
favorites.
Yep.
Um,
Sam Meza is so great.
and he's very much like you, where he does most things by himself. Like
Hmm.
his music videos, he self directs.
Oh yeah. I reached out to him years ago when I was starting to make music because I was like, no one does percussions as well as he does. Like it
Yeah.
sounds so clean, so like close to you. And I asked him, do you use any specific like sample pack? Is there like, and he replied, which is like crazy already, but he replied super fast and was like, I have everything at home. I record everything, like all of these percussions. I actually do record live. And I was like, well, you're just amazing. Like you can hear that. Like it really sounds like you're right next to the percussion. He's so great at making drums.
I shared one of his reels to my story, and then within 30 seconds, he's like, "Thanks, man." I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Hi."
Yeah, he's so active. Like I love when artists do that, when they're still close to their community. Like it makes me even like happier to be listening to them.
I mean, he's also like you, where the follower count is way less than it should be, and
he's very underrated.
Yeah, I mean, that's also like he has such a niche that the rest of the world hasn't caught up on.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
Cool. Anyway, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your time, out of your busy schedule, talking to me.
Worries.
Again, like your work has completely like rocked my artistic world since I discovered it. I haven't stopped thinking about it. Like it's the reason that I kind of really started playing with textures, with little like light leaks and stuff. Really started becoming more intentional about getting into Photoshop and just adding more things.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you for having me, and I'm so glad I could inspire you in a way, especially because like you have so much more experience than I do. So the idea that like I can like contribute to your art is very like heartwarming.
Oh, of course. I mean, even though I might have more years, like the pacing is different. Like you set out to make this art and you had this as a goal and you did absolutely everything possible to excel in it.
Yeah.
So, hey, and hey, here's to hoping. I hope that everything works out where you get to stay on this side of the Atlantic for as long as possible.
Thank you.
And I hope to see some of my friends in your photos soon.
I hope you do, honestly. And thank you so much for sharing what I do with your audience, because I've had some really nice people come in my DMs and like tell me that you send them. Like I've had some really cool people maybe booking a shoot with me. So yeah, that was a very nice move. Thank you.
Oh yeah, the people in my following are wonderful, and I love them, and I really hope you get to work with them.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Cool. Thank you very much. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for making it all the way through. This was definitely a huge step out of my comfort zone for me, and I had a really, really good time with this talk, and there's definitely things I will be doing better on my side next time. I definitely plan on making more of these episodes with other artists in the future, so if you enjoyed what you heard and want to hear more, please just engage however you can with whatever social media you're listening to this on. Comments, shares, likes, follows, whatever you're able to throw my way. They will give this episode boost and let the social media platforms know that, hey, I might be worth potentially monetizing my content on, which would be awesome because it's not free to make these episodes. It doesn't cost a whole lot, but it definitely costs a little bit per episode, and I would absolutely love to break even. But most importantly, if you resonated with Lesath Photography's work, if you can see yourself making it to Montreal, and if you would love to see yourself photographed in her style, please consider booking her. I have seen her prices. I know she's going to boost her prices in a little bit, but I do know that she is charging way below what she is worth. And even after she does her price increase, this will still be very true. And if you are in the US, keep in mind that her prices are in Canadian dollars, which are worth way less than the American dollar. So no matter how low her prices may sound when she quotes you, it's going to be even lower for you as an American, which may sound like an amazing deal, but because you love artists, what you really should be doing is paying that Canadian price in US currency, if that makes sense. So if the price is 350 Canadian dollars, you pay 350 US dollars. but you still convert it into Canadian money just to be nice, just to make her life more easy. And if you don't, John Cooper from Skill is watching you. Anyway, that's enough yapping. Peace.